watching Let's Chat.
Well, temperatures are warming up, and if you're thinking about getting away, you're going to want to watch this interview. That's right. I am here with Angie Brandt of Custom Travel Professionals. Thank you for being here today.
Yes, thank you for having me.
So you've been doing this since 2012, 11 years. Tell me about your work.
So starting in 2011, I became a part-time travel planner, eventually became full-time, and within the last year I've also taken on an additional role within the agency of training manager. So it's also part of my job to keep up with all of the changes in the travel industry and make sure the other agents are updated, that sort of thing. So.
Now let's say someone like me who thinks I could plan a 2-country trip by myself, and then I get overwhelmed and I end up doing a last-minute thing and staying at a Motel 6. Why should people work with you?
Well, the main advantage, there are many advantages to working with me personally and with a travel planner in general, but I would say the main thing is customer service. Lots of times you would not believe how many times people will travel and there's some sort of emergency, some sort of change, and they're not really sure how to handle it. So as an example, I had a group of 6 traveling to Park City, Utah last month.
Right.
And they had 2 flights to get there. Their first flight was delayed enough that they were going to miss their second flight. So 6 a.m. I got a phone call. They were of course in a bit of a panic, but I was able to get them rescheduled very swiftly, get them there just a couple of hours later. Had you booked yourself, I'm sure there would have been an emergency number you could call. However, then you're put into a queue and you're waiting, and in the meantime my clients were already fixed and ready to go. So there are many advantages, but I tend to find that people who book with me are most pleased with the customer service and the fact that I'm just a phone call away.
I never thought of that. So with a cancellation, you're like almost on call to help it. Is that typical?
Well, obviously, you know, if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, my phone is turned off, but usually when people are traveling, I try and keep my phone on at all times during their travel time. So yeah, the customer service part really is critical.
Now, how does the process work? Do you almost do a consultation with the client and like, where do you want to go? Walk me through that.
Yeah, so when someone first reaches out to me, it's important to kind of qualify them and see, first of all, if they already have anything in mind, and if they don't, what type of traveler are they? Are they an adventure traveler? Do they prefer to lay on the beach? That sort of thing, and then you move on to what types of lodging. So you go through their preferences and kind of make suggestions based off of that, and we keep working on it until they're happy.
Now, if you've been doing this for a decade, have you seen trends in where people like to travel? Does it shift? And what's the most popular place to travel to?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I don't know that I have a most popular place. However, here recently in the past couple of years, there's been a lot more domestic travel. Just since COVID and all of that, people have moved a little bit more domestic. However, within the past year, people are starting to branch out again. So I plan trips domestically, and then also Mexico, the Caribbean, and Europe. So I would say a lot of mine are domestic or Mexico, Caribbean. I do get a few Europe travelers as well.
And I would imagine the customer, some might care about price, some might not care about price.
Right.
Is that right? And what do you do? Pre-packaged vacations like Sandals resorts?
I do those. I also do custom itineraries, like you know, if somebody wants to fly out west and they want to go to different national parks, I can do a custom package for them. So it really just depends on what the client wants to do.
And your favorite part about this?
Ooh, I love when the clients come back and they're sharing pictures and memories they made with either, you know, their significant other, their family, and I just love to hear that I was part of being able to make that happen for them.
That's awesome. I loved hearing about this. I can't wait to travel myself. How can people get a hold of you?
So the best way would be email or Facebook. Email is Angie@customtravelprofessionals.com, and then Facebook, I do have lots of reviews on there if people would like to read reviews of my service, but also you can message me directly on there, and you can find me by searching at Angie Brandt CTP.
Wonderful. Angie Brandt, ANGIEBRANDT CTP. That's awesome. Thank you so much for being here today. Angie Brandt with CustomTravelProfessionals.com.